Since taking power in August last year, the Taliban have repeatedly expressed the expectation that the international community will recognize their authority. But the group has done nothing to demonstrate a willingness to meet the conditions put forward by Western powers and some regional states. The Taliban have repeatedly revealed a clear prioritization of maintaining their own internal cohesion and demonstrating their authority domestically. The government is made up entirely of their own leadership, excluding women and other political stakeholders while including a number of internationally sanctioned figures. A report.
The people of Afghanistan are going through the darkest moments once in a generation, now as the country is facing economic, security and political crisis. While humanitarian assistance continues to flow, aid needed for longer-term development in Afghanistan was halted when the Taliban took over Kabul last August as foreign forces withdrew. Billions of dollars in Afghan reserves also remain frozen overseas as the West pushes for concessions on human rights. No country has yet recognized the Taliban as legitimate rulers of Afghanistan, mainly because of their harsh treatment of women and girls. The Islamist rulers have suspended secondary education for most teenage girls, ordered women to wear face coverings in public, and barred them from traveling beyond without a close male relative. Taliban leaders who are not willing to listen to the world community are desperate to get recognition. They have called on the international community to roll back sanctions and unfreeze central bank assets in the wake of a deadly Afghanistan earthquake.
The Islamic Emirate is asking the world to give the Afghans their most basic right, which is the right to life, and that is through lifting the sanctions and unfreezing our assets, and also giving assistance after destroying lives for 20 years.
The US and the world at large have been urging the hardline group to reverse some of its curbs on women and ensure inclusive governance if it wants the global community to consider the Taliban's demand for diplomatic recognition. However, Taliban leaders have rejected calls for removing the restrictions on women, insisting they are in accordance with Afghan culture and Sharia or Islamic law. Their spokespersons say they are religiously obliged to implement Islamic Sharia to counter practices that Islam prohibits. They have the opinion that Afghan women should not make such demands that are against the principles of Islam. The de facto rulers of Afghanistan claim that they had met all the requirements for their government to be given diplomatic recognition. When asked to explain whether the group's policies or any country is responsible for the delay in winning the legitimacy, Taliban say that the US is preventing the new government from receiving international recognition.
I'll answer that question with two counter questions. The one would be, is this the criteria for all societies to be given the most basic right, the right to life and existence? And number two, is this rule universal? Because the United States just passed an anti-abortion law, and it has laws in some states that enforce public morality and dress code.
Despite the Taliban's promises to suppress and expel other terrorist groups, their presence in practices has helped to perpetuate the crisis in Afghanistan. The presence of ISIS-K and other terrorist training camps in Afghanistan has led to a lack of sufficient confidence in various countries in the Taliban. In fact, turning Afghanistan into a terrorist base and reproducing international terrorists and exporting them to the world could add to the country's multiple crises. Taliban should introspect and pay attention to the concern of security experts. Moreover, they should listen to the voice of common Afghans who are demanding basic human rights.